Hi, I'm Lonna Kelly, and this is Hudson Valley Art Speak. Thank you for tuning in today. Today we're going to be talking to a photographer, Lucille Tortora, and Lucille has really developed a very interesting and different way of taking pictures, and I think you'll be surprised when you hear how she does it. Hi, Lucille.
Hello, how are you?
I'm
nice
good.
to meet you.
Thanks for coming today.
Oh, I'm thrilled to be here, really.
Yeah. So let's start from the beginning. You've been a photographer for quite a while. You
Over
studied
35 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were a curator.
I was a curator at a museum on Long Island after I finished learning about photography. I had gone back to school to get a BA. I went to Hofstra, and then I went to Long Island University, and that's where I really met this wonderful, wonderful mentor who ran the photography department. His name was Arthur Leipzig.
Mm-hmm.
When I went for the interview to get into the program, he took one look at my work and he said, well, I don't have to tell you anything about taking a photograph, but he said, do you need technical help? So here I was going for a master's in photography, not knowing very much about photography. I had taken 1 year at a local community college. And he was the best person I could have met. And to this day, I am so grateful to him because I found something that I fell in love with.
Mm-hmm.
And I had done all kinds of artwork, and I never really stayed. One of my daughters said to me, she says, Mom, what is it with you? The minute you get good at something, you quit. But I never found anything that really satisfied me until I found photography. And when I came out of the program, I went to work at a museum, and I became the curator of photography there. So I curated shows, and I stayed for about 8 years, and all the while I kept doing my own work. And I just absolutely loved it. It was such an exciting thing to me. And the first time I ever took a picture, when I looked through the camera, I said to myself, oh my God, I've been looking through a camera my whole life. Because like when I'd be driving around, I was always looking how the poles went to this way and that. I was always composing and I didn't even realize it.
As a photographer, I know what you're saying. Because I look at things and I just see a picture.
Exactly.
I see a photograph,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then when I got in the dark room and I put paper, photographic paper, into the chemical, I looked and saw it come up, and it was just so exciting to me. And I had originally borrowed my husband's camera. Well, he never got his camera back, and he got so excited that I was excited about photography that the first year he built me a darkroom.
Oh, that's great.
So I have always had my own darkroom, and I still use it. I mean, this color work that you see behind me is the first time I really am exhibiting color.
In color, really.
And I'm going to have a show in June, and I'm very nervous about it because I could not have accomplished the color without my Photoshop guru. That's Annie Myers. She knows I was so lucky to meet her because we started to talk, and she said, well, if you want to learn Photoshop, I can teach it to you. So she says, let me see some of your color images. And she noticed an odd kind of a box in my darkroom, and she said to me, what's in there? So I show her. I said, these are color images that I have never seen. Because when I started with the Holga camera, and I saw what I got in black and white, I started using color. I had, in 1995, I had gone to Arizona, and that's when, for the first time, I saw color that I really would have liked to do. And so when I found this method of doing the color, I didn't like manipulating color images and putting them together like I did my black and white images. And so when she saw these, she says, my God, these look like they were photoshopped before, with you not knowing Photoshop.
They do. I was very surprised when I found out you were doing this in the camera, not,
Yes,
you know, post.
exactly. And she didn't really teach me Photoshop. And to tell you the truth, when I saw the amount of work that went into trying to produce these with the color adjusted exactly and all, I said to myself, you know, I really don't like learning keystrokes or whatever the heck you call them. So I now have my guru who can print these for me, and I can keep now taking color.
Yeah, and this is brand new, isn't it? Because I met you a couple of months ago, and you and Anne were talking about maybe scanning your negatives.
Yes, but she thought that it was going to be scanning my Hasselblad negatives, because I did take some color here and there.
Yeah.
But I didn't. So we tried, and when I saw what we got, it wasn't exciting. And then when she was looking through my darkroom and found these negatives, she said, Lucille, this is what you should do. And I realized that I now can have the best of both worlds, because I can still work in my darkroom and do the black and white that I want to do. And because I always thought that the completion of my black and white images were what I did to them in the darkroom.
In the darkroom, yeah.
You know, I would take, the Hasselblad has a 2 1/4 negative, so I would take the negatives and put them together. And, you know, I played with I made like double sheets and triple contact sheets. And I would put the whole thing together that way. And then I would blow them up. And I mean, it was a long process. But I loved doing it because I always looked at things from different points of view. Very impressed with, I also have an art history background, so I'm very impressed with a lot of the abstract artists, you know, looking at something from different points of view.
Right.
So that's where I've gotten all my inspiration.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. You've mentioned Hasselblad and Holga cameras.
Right.
So they're two extremely different cameras.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what this did, first of all, the Hasselblad equipment weighs a lot. I mean, the equipment I carried around was 20 pounds. And as I got older, I found that kind of hard. And the Holga camera is really what they classify as a toy camera. I mean, the first ones I bought cost $25.
Really?
Yes. And they also give you light leaks. And that's the interesting thing that you get, because sometimes the light leaks look good. And you just really don't know what you're going to get. And I enjoy them, and it's a freedom. And this plastic camera maybe weighs 2 ounces or 3 ounces, not 4 pounds. So I always brought the two of them with me. Once I took the World Trade Center in 1999, and that was the first image I took. And I was so excited about it, because there's my abstraction.
So the World Trade Center you took in the Holga?
Yeah.
Okay, and that was the result that you got when you took that film into the darkroom.
Yeah. And what I do is, you know, you have a negative that's 30 inches long.
Yeah.
So I made big contact sheets. And then I would, you know, and then I made myself backgrounds so that I could decide, well, maybe I like that. No, maybe I like that. Maybe I like this. I mean, I went through lots of paper, but I really was thrilled with the results. Yeah. But in 1999, Annie and I started working on this last year.
Yeah.
So it's taken about 1.5 years to get and we don't have that many done. We only have about 12 because it was a very big learning curve. She could understand what I liked, and that's why I never did color, because you can't do color in a home dark room.
Yeah. So when you're working with the Holga, you have to advance it by hand.
Yeah.
And do you have any control over the exposures or the f-stops or anything like that?
No.
No.
You have on the lens, it has a picture of a mountain for distance, 3 people for a group of people, 1 person for one, and that's the kind of, and a rain setting and a sunny setting. That's it.
That's it.
And you know, with the Holga, I mean with the Hasselblad, I used the zone system, you know, the whole...
Yeah.
And a handheld...
a light meter?
Light meter, because the Hasselblad that I had no controls.
Yeah.
It was one of, you know, it's the nothing. You have to set up everything in order to, so it was a lot of work. I mean, it took forever to take a photograph.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my friends once said to me, "What are you doing, waiting for the rocks to move?" I said, "No, but I'm slow."
Yeah. So you mentioned that you're going to be having a show.
Yes, I'm going to be having a show at the Buster Levy Gallery. That's a photo, not a photo, it's a artist collective, and I belong to it. And we usually have a single show of our own, and then we have group shows, and we invite people to show at our gallery. And it's quite a beautiful gallery, if I must say.
I've been there. It's in Cold Spring.
It's in Cold Spring.
Yeah.
On Main Street.
Yeah.
So, in fact, my show is going to, we have every first Friday of the month, we have an opening, and we coordinate it with Gallery 66. And there are other places, like there's a real estate agent, and he opens on that night too.
Right.
He has artwork there. We're trying to do sort of what's happening in Beacon, but it's kind of hard.
Yeah. It takes a lot of work to get that energy up all the time.
I know.
Yeah.
So, but we really love our gallery, and I'm the only regular photographer in it, and we have painters, we have some really very interesting artists. So, you know, when we have a group show, you should come and see, because you could maybe, you know, interview some of the other artists.
Yeah, I'm always looking for people to interview, I have to say that.
Are you really?
So,
I have somebody.
You know what? Our time is up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So, thank you so much for coming here tonight.
I told
really
you
appreciate
enough.
it. You told me a lot. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.